Welcome back. Right now we are going to focus on Park City School District. We have Principal Bob Edmiston joining us today, Principal of McPolin Elementary. Bob, thanks so much for being here virtually with us here on Park City Television. It's great to see you. I believe you are muted, but we're looking forward to talking more about McPolin Elementary. How has this school year been, and what are some challenges and successes that your staff, your teachers, your students have been able to achieve and overcome this school year?
Oh, that's a long list, Christine. So I'd rather just focus on what's gone well. The truth is, we're in our 25th consecutive week of perfect in-person learning. We have had a very successful year in reference to supporting the whole community, especially our students. Learned a lot. And I think in the end, it's given us an opportunity to realize the importance of community and working together for a common goal and building relationships so that when we're back into a more normal process or structures that I think will be an even better community and school district because of our relationship building that's occurred during this time.
It's been almost a year since schools shut down for the remaining of the 2019-2020 school year. So as you approached this school year, heading into 2020, 2021, how did you approach it differently? What did you do that was perhaps different from any other year? And what have you learned from things that have happened and from remote schooling and all the different items that affected education throughout this time?
Good question. And the truth is, this situation, this circumstance, especially when we dove into it in August, we had no idea we had nothing to build on from a previous experience, I should say. So my approach was starting in mid-July, working really hard and planning for a normal year as if everything was going to work out. And at that point, we didn't know. And as we would get closer and we would learn more about what the reality was, we would adjust accordingly and keep adding on. It's easier, from my point of view, to plan and then change a plan than then just try to figure out what to do as the circumstances change. That hard work to plan with everybody and be prepared has, again, taught us the importance of community, our relationships working together so that as our circumstances would change in a day, we had the ability to make those adjustments. And we have learned a lot about each other. We've learned about the process of putting together an organized system. And we will be better from all this. And I look really forward to the day when parents can come walking in the front door again. We go back to some old behaviors.
You recently won the United Way Changemaker Award, and I know you're a very humble person, but I want you to, how do you feel that you won that award? I know that you're very involved in the community. You also want to make sure that every child is seen, is heard, feels like they have a voice. You have a very unique educational philosophy. So tell me a little bit more about that and how that led to some awards that you and your school have received.
I don't think there's anything groundbreaking from all of this. One, thank you very much. And it was a great honor to accept the Changemaker Award for all of us. This was not one person. This has been a team effort since getting here in 06, 07. And that's when I started my relationship with United Way in an effort to ensure that all students have access to all the wonderful benefits our system can offer and our town can offer. And so that was a great award. In reference to I don't think it's groundbreaking. I think we have we call it our Motivated Moose program. And it's based on our ROCK rules, because at McPolin we rock. And this is really where this comes from. And ROCK stands for respect, organization, cooperation, and most important of all is kindness. And that comes from my mom. My parents believe strongly in education. My grandparents, my fathers. My mother's side, grandfather was a professor at Penn State, and my father's mom was a teacher back in the 30s. And believe it or not, when she got married to my grandfather, she had to stop teaching because women weren't allowed to be married and teach. And so education's been important. They also ingrained in us kindness, that you can be a lot of things in this world. Being kind is one that we choose to be. And what is demonstrating kindness more than making sure that every student, regardless of whatever, they deserve the opportunity to be successful and take full advantage of their potential. And that's where it all comes from. Let's make sure every student, and that would be our standard, needs to be met. And we use a servant's heart approach at McPolin. We talk about family, and we talk about, if that was your grandchild or your child, what would you expect? And using that as our standard, we've had a lot of fun.
Your students, staff, teachers, parents, they feel your caring attitude. It's very evident even when you walk into the school. And something that you do is you're always involved. In the mornings, you're out there, you're greeting the students as they come in, you're guiding traffic. I think that's a sled behind you. You're really always there with the kids.
I put on a good show, I'll say. We have a great staff. We have an amazing community. I get the easy part to be the talking head, and I do need to make sure that we keep ourselves centered about students. And I got the best job in the world. Work is hard no matter what you're doing. We get to work with kids, and we get to laugh and smile, and they're the motivation. So I just feel very blessed to work in this town and to have such a wonderful job where I get to work with our community and make things better for everybody. That sounds like a good day to me, Christine.
I agree. And speaking of community, you are very involved in the community, and that's a high priority to you, is having these community partnerships within education. I'd love to hear a little more about that.
I couldn't agree more. And I think this whole pandemic has made even more clear how important community is. And when everyone succeeds, we all succeed. Schools, we get to know everybody. We are experts in education. And yet we know, unless the basic needs of all students are being met, their ability to engage in learning and thrive is very much impacted in a negative way. And we're not experts in mental health. We're not experts in how to support housing. Yet we are surrounded by amazing service providers, groups, Christian Center, People's Health Clinic, Jewish Family Services, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. My philosophy is schools build relationships with these community service providers, so that when we meet people and go, hey, I think this would be beneficial, let us help you get that, and build relationship with those community providers, we make a stronger system and we grow together as a community. And schools are a perfect place to create those bridges.
Well, thank you so much, Principal Bob Edmiston, for joining us today from McPolin Elementary. We are very lucky to have you in our community. Know that the kids, students, staff, teachers, as I've mentioned, they're so thankful for your leadership and for your example within that school. And we appreciate the time that you spent with us today. We'll be back with more right after this.